D coordinator Jim Knowles with over to the left, Steve Hellwagon, 24/7 Sports.
All right, Coach. The big topic from the last game was the goal line stand. Can you go through each of the 4 plays just really quickly? I know. for historical sake, just one of the great stands.
First play, we got into big people. Boom, stopped them. Second play, we were still in big people, and which leaves you vulnerable to some crack tosses and things. And our guys practiced it, and they read it, and Caleb Downs pulled his trigger exceptionally, and everybody rallied. Third play, we were in a red zone coverage that we haven't used before, so I think we had a good thing there. And Jack actually got pressure on that play, and we had all the routes covered. And then I decided to stay in the same call in the next play, and it worked.
Back on the first play JT made, just
Dang, you know, that's that's how you coach. Yeah, just playing on a bad ankle and just dominated the block and got off the block and made the play.
Noah Weisskopf, the Lantern.
We've talked a lot this season with the offense, especially about pacing itself. How has that affected the defense throughout the course of the year?
Oh, that's huge. It's huge. You know, I've been in situations where, you know, your offense is hurry up and trying to get as many plays as possible, and that can take its toll over the course of a season on a defense. And, you know, Coach Day with a lot of forethought, you know, about a long season. Really a great strategy, and it's helped us a bunch.
Dave Holmes, WSYX.
Yeah, Jim, when they look at Notre Dame, I know you're not worried about their defense, but you have the top 2 at least scoring defenses, 2 top 10 defenses overall. You come in here, hoodie, drinking coffee, just looking old school football. I mean, do you embrace a game like this? I mean, a potential 14-10 championship game, or what do you think about 2 hard defenses facing off?
Yeah, I think it's important to recognize that, and that's how I led with our guys is, you know, we have to outplay their defense. You know, they're obviously very good in all aspects and in that area. So, you know, our mantra has been, since I've got here, to be able to win games on defense. So, yeah, we embrace it.
Adam King, WBNS.
You talked so often about how when the offense gets going, it allows you to call more aggressively. How helpful is it for you and maybe a goal for you guys to allow the offense to be aggressive, to go out there and set the tone on defense so that they can do what they want?
Yeah, that's always a goal. I mean, it's always been a goal since I got here that everyone can look at the defense and know no matter what the situation is in the game that we're going to be okay. You know, fans, you men and women, everyone, we want everyone to have that confidence in the defense. And I know that when an offense has that confidence in the defense, they can be more aggressive.
Whitney Harding, WCMH.
Jim, one thing that Texas did very well, and that's because Stark's just really great at it, is the screen game. Is that something that you expect could be used against you again? And what is it about that they were able to exploit or do so well?
Yeah, I do, and they're really good at it. You know, screens are hard. That's why people run them. You know, you saw our offense run a pretty good one. They're difficult. They're hard on defenses. You know, we do our best to get better at them and recognize them, but that's all you can do. You know, recognition is key.
Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Jim, kind of the second half of this year, but especially in the postseason, this D-line has really statistically made an impact. I know coming out of the Oregon game, you guys talked about that. What has maybe unlocked some of the potential that we knew was there, but now we're seeing the statistical production go along with some of the other stuff?
I think we've, you know, disguised our coverages better and able to put them in better situations to execute the pass rush. but they've been great. You know, in my mind, they've been great, and they're always doing their job. Sometimes the numbers don't show that, but it's nice as a coach to be able to see them, you know, get their due.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Your first play as Ohio State's defensive coordinator was sending Denzel Burke on a blitz against this very team, and it's felt like over the last 3 years it's been you trying to find that balance ever since of when to be aggressive, when to maybe scale back, and there's been wins and losses where that's always been questioned. As you get back on this field with this team, it's kind of a full circle moment. Do you feel like you as a play caller have found that balance, but also the personnel that you're putting out there has allowed you to maybe maximize whatever you're calling on a down by play-by-play basis?
Yeah, it's a constant. It's just constant. I don't think I ever feel good about it. That's why I keep working, and I won't take any days off. You know, I mean, it's just you're always fighting for that balance. And yeah, I don't remember all the plays, but I remember that one. I mean, we hit the quarterback right in his face and then missed a tackle, right? And it went a long ways. And then we held him to a field goal. Yeah, but it's just constant work.
Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Jim, it looked like just watching from our view that Jordan Hancock just played really, really well. Where have you seen him take the biggest jump? And do you think that the way that you guys use Caleb has kind of allowed Jordan to
Yeah.
unlock a new level here?
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that. Jordan Hancock had a great game last game. You know, I don't know how much it shows up, but I'm glad you noticed it because he was really exceptional. And yeah, I do believe it's played more into his skills to be able to do some different things with him. You know, he's really embraced it, and you just see him getting better every week.
Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Jim, you mentioned Caleb's trigger on that goal line play. I'm curious two things. How special is that to see from Caleb? Because I don't think there's probably many safeties that can make that play with that good of a trigger. And then two, how that transitions into kind of the work he puts in before the game to know when they audible down to that, he knows his reading.
Yeah, he's just that's just who he is. You're right, he is exceptional. He makes those plays all the time. You know, I mean, they show up, and it's because he's very talented, but he also studies and he recognizes the play before it happens. When you can be a player of his talent who also has the kind of work ethic that he has in preparation, you see things and you're able to react even faster. So very skilled, but also a great student of the game too.
Tom Taveri, WBMS.
So do you guys pay attention? I mean, you're ranked #1, they're ranked #2. Do you pay attention to that going in? Is it bragging rights on the line?
No, not really. We just every game takes its own form and shape, you know, and the statistics they don't get you any sacks or TFLs or anything, you know, going into the game. You got to earn it. So it's just a matter of you know, executing the game plan and finding a way to win. You know, that's a big deal.
Dan Hope, Lebanon Warriors.
The defensive line has had, I believe, 11 pass breakups in this CFP. How much of a point of emphasis has that been, and what do you think has allowed those guys to do so well in that specific area?
Yeah, it's huge emphasis. Tips and overthrows, got to have those. You know, our guys know that. We repeat it. It's been a mantra since I've been here. And I think you're just seeing a lot of that hard work and habits of, you know, matching the hand and things that we've worked on consistently, and Coach Johnson has worked on consistently since I've been here. I just think that's paying off. It's all about your habits.
Bill Landis, Kings of the North.
Jim, have you adapted at all how you guys want to defend, or I guess match personnel with 12 personnel? It just seems like you're not going to that 4-3 as often when teams put a second tight end on the field.
It really depends on the game plan. You know, really depends on the game plan. So it's week to week.
And you mentioned before sometimes you face 12 personnel that doesn't play like 12 personnel. I feel like that might apply to some of the opponents you guys have played thus far, but maybe it doesn't apply to Notre Dame. What's the difference in the challenge there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if they're going to line up big and, you know, just try to run the ball in standard sets, you know, that's when you got to get your, you know, you got to get the nickel off the field. So, you know, it's just a matter of seeing what they do and preparation and matching that, but you also got to be able to adapt during the game too.
Stefan Kreisnig, Cleveland.com.
Going back to Caleb, he had another tackle in that Texas game. It seemed like he saved the touchdown. He's had a million of those this season. It feels like, what? Why is he so good at the shoestring tackles where it seems like he just clips the guy and it makes a huge play?
That's a good question. You know, I don't know if I have an answer to that. You know, it's great players make great plays. You know, you just can count on him in those critical situations, and he's shown it time and time again.
We'll go one more and then we'll hop back on the Zoom. Joe Nugent, WCMH.
I got two quick ones, if that's all right.
Is that all right? Yeah.
I don't know if I have this right. I heard that you almost kind of predicted the Sawyer strip sack on the headset. Like somebody made a comment about Texas is going in here, and you're like, well, hey, I sack didn't score yet.
Yeah, I can't say I predicted the strip sack, but I mean, that'd be bold. But I just know how our guys think and how we've trained them, and that, you know, if you said to them, give us an inch, they would say, we'll defend it, you know, so they just have that attitude. So, you know, I'm going to have that attitude too, you know, and believe in them.
In the physical nature of Notre Dame's run game, what do you see?
I see a physical nature of their run game. Back's really good, line, you know. They challenge you in a lot of different ways in the run game.
All right, we'll jump on the Zoom. Kirk Bowles, Houston Chronicle.
Hey, Jim. I'm curious how much your familiarity with Steve Sarkisian helped in the Cotton Bowl. And as a defensive coordinator, would you rather teams try to trick or finesse you at the goal line instead of just playing smash mouth football?
Well, I had only coached against Sark one time at Oklahoma State, so I had some familiarity. It helps. You know, it helps. Would I rather have them smash mouth or trick? I don't know if I have an answer. I don't know if I have an answer to that. You know, I think when you see the tricks and you recognize them, you know, you have a real good shot to be successful. When it's just smash mouth, you know, it's a fight for every inch. So to me, it's a little bit less predictable when it's just smash mouth.
Dan Tortora.
Coach, obviously the strip sack and the return for the touchdown for Jack Sawyer puts him on the map to a lot of people around the country, but just what you can say about his day-to-day on and off the field lunch pail mentality, his faith, and who he's been to this team outside of just simply one play.
Yeah, he's done it since I've gotten here. He's just a great young man, personality, respect, work, smiles, can be tough when it's time to be tough. He can have fun when it's time to have fun. He's the kind of guy you want to coach, that you can always count on. Because if it's a fist fight, he'll fight. You know, if it's a finesse, he'll finesse. You know, if somebody needs to be talked to on the team or something in the locker room, he'll do that. So he's just a consummate team guy.
And Tony Girdman, Buckeye Huddle.
A similar question about your 3 years with Lathan Ransom. What have those been like for you, and what can you say about the journey that he's gone through since you've been here?
Lathan loves the game, loves his teammates. He's had his ups and downs, you know, both on the field and with injuries. So, you know, that's just a guy that you always pull for because, you know, he's experienced both ends of it. And you just love to see him do well because he's earned it. You know, he's fought through the adversity.
Back here locally in Columbus, Austin Ward, podcast.
Jim, Jermaine seems like a fairly confident young man. What is your experience like coaching him? Does that confidence make it challenging at times to deal with him? Fun? What's it like to work with Jermaine?
All of it. You know, I like it. You know, again, you know, I'm from Philly. You know, so you know, I like that confidence. But it's challenging. Yeah, Jermaine's one of those guys that, you know, if you say something to him in practice, he can bark back at you, you know, which I'm okay with, you know, because he's competitive. He's a competitor. And he is fun to be around. He's got personality.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
I get 2-2, please.
Not him, Jerry.
3 now. I'll do 3.
2 for Bill.
The player that made that big play when you had Denzel blitzing was Lorenzo, obviously.
Yeah, that's right.
What, you know, I think he's playing against his old team now, obviously. What kind of, what have you seen from him? I mean, just, first of all, do you sense the excitement and his, you know, with him, and just how valuable has he been?
He doesn't get that excited, you know. Both he and his brother, I mean, what a great family, you know. The way they've been raised, I mean, they just show up for work and they want to be coached. Lorenzo's the same as Sonny. I mean, they want to be coached. They'll do anything you ask them to, you know. If they are off on a play, they take the coaching and they want to get better. You know, they're just really coachable guys.
And I know you're just focused on Notre Dame, you're not thinking about big pictures now, but you came up the hard way. You've never been even close to this situation, coaching for a national championship. That's why you came here. What's it like for you? Or are you even allowing yourself to think about that?
Nope. Just staying in the process. You know, just the game plan, formulating a plan, teaching, preparation. You know, I'll think back on all that someday when I'm old.
Andrew Gillis, Cleveland.com.
Jim, Notre Dame special teams have been really important for them this year. How much do you guys rep that in a week like this, where you keep the defense on the field during a punt, or the play that they ran against Georgia, where they run the offense back on?
Yeah, a ton. Yeah, their special teams do have a lot to them. Non-standard things that you need to prepare for. So we're going to practice it a bunch.
Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, Jim, coordinators, you, Chip, you take your share of abuse from outside these walls, but you get shielded, or compared to the head coach, it's pretty minor. How satisfying is it to see that people are back on Ryan Day's bandwagon and the abuse he took after the Michigan game, and now it's like a lot of it's forgiven? As somebody who's close to him.
I'm happy for our coach. You know, I mean, he really is a great head coach. He's involved in all aspects. He's in touch with the players. He knows your problems. He knows your struggle, and whatever was going on there, you know, I don't get to pay attention to it because I'm involved in my own world. But thanks for telling me people abuse me too. I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I tell that story. I remember when because I have teammates in town, you know, college teammates. One of them owns a restaurant. One's a big lawyer, you know. And in the beginning they say, hey, don't worry what everybody's saying about you, you know. So I didn't know they were saying that about me. Thanks for telling me, though. But in terms of our head coach, I mean, there's not a person in this building, no matter what your job is, or anybody who knows him doesn't, we all know that he would do anything for the team or the players, and he works extremely hard, and he doesn't let anything from the outside world affect us. He's very protective of our job and the players, and making sure that we have it the best that it can be. So yes, I'm very happy for him. He deserves it. He deserves all the recognition and support from anyone who's a fan of this program. If you saw inside how Coach Day works and the feeling the players have for him, and how consistent he is and supportive, and then look at the players. I mean, we have really good kids, and there's still other young men, but I mean, so how the players operate in the community, and all the good things that happen, and the negative things that don't happen, the kind of discipline and selflessness we have in the program. That's all a function of Coach Day's effort and what he puts into it.
Dave Biddle, 24/7 Sports.
Jim, how would you describe how you're deploying Caleb Downs in this defense? He almost looks like a hybrid Mike at times. Like how would you describe it?
I'm not going to divulge any of that information.
Well, okay, one follow-up then. How's Denzel Burke doing? I know on Sunday, Coach Day said that he expects him to play. What's the latest with Denzel?
Yeah, as far as I know. And again, that's above my pay grade, but I mean, as far as I know, everything is good, Minor thing that he's working through.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Jim, how has it benefited your defense is much older this year? Everybody, with the exception of Caleb, is a junior or senior. What has been the benefit of having that much experience to get to this point?
Yeah, I don't think you can really quantify it. It's amazing. It would be hard to put it into actual words, Everywhere I've ever been, when you get in the system and you learn it, and you can see what's happening or before it happens, or why I'm calling things, it just pays off in dividends. So it's a veteran group that I trust completely.
Does it pay off, like, in terms of what sort of their recognition? Is it like week to week? Is it in game? Like, where
It's
do
both. It's both. It's week to week. It's learning the game plan, why we're doing things. But then those they're always unscripted plays, right? That's what people need about the game. I mean, there are things you practice all week and they never happen, and then there are things that you didn't know were going to happen and they happen. So how they react to that and how they handle that is huge, and much better with a veteran group.
Stevie, I know I called on you once, and you're Steve Hellwagen, 24/7
follow-up.
Sports. Quickie, then, okay.
Very quick.
How much does that cost?
I don't know. I haven't got it, whatever it is. The Sawyer play, the right tackle doesn't appear to even, do much to stop him. Is that a case where you guys have worn them down over a four-quarter game, and in the battle of attrition, kind of? I mean, he just doesn't even make a play there to try and stop him. I mean, is that what you guys talk about, being a four-quarter team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't. I don't consider what they did. I consider Jack making a play. I never think about it from that. I don't think about it from that standpoint. But there is 4 quarters, and what Coach Mick does in the weight room, and everything that these guys prepare for. We knew that was going to be a slugfest, And we expect that this week, that it's going to come down. First 2 games we got ahead. But let me tell you something, Texas is really good. They're really good. Really good.
We will wrap things up with Tim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah, I don't mean to be
smart aleck here, but. did
Why are you
write-
always last? He's always last. Is that it?
I know, I always get here late. Did you write on the bulletin board or the chalkboard, y'all's first meeting back, wheel route? I mean, did that bother you to give up 2 wheel routes for
2
touchdowns?
wheel routes,
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Because they had
Thanks.
2 touchdowns, you know.
Thanks.
Go ahead though, I mean,
Yeah, no,
what's the lesson learned there, I guess?
Coach better.
Yeah.
That's the lesson learned. Need to coach the wheel route better. It's not the kid's fault, it's my fault. Yeah, but thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, but I knew it was top of your agenda.
Yeah.
Because, but I wanted to ask you, with Notre Dame, what do they present specifically that's a little bit different? Obviously, Riley Leonard will run or throw, and he's been effective with it everywhere he's played and this year and stuff. And then the great running back they've got and stuff. Just what just jumps out at you?
Yeah, great running back. Great quarterback who is an incredible competitor. Like, I know him from Duke. I mean, he came in after me, but the way everybody talked about him there, I mean, he's a guy that, you know, he'll scrape himself off the ground and keep playing. I mean, he's just going to keep coming at you. And he's tough and he's fast. So you got the running back, but then you have that whole quarterback run game, which is different, and the scramble game, where he makes a lot of plays.
Great. Thank you, man.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Jim.